Welcome in to I Remember My First Time.
Oh, yeah.
Don't be nasty, Jacob. Not that first time.
Damn it.
This is a podcast about cinematic awakenings,
Ooh, okay, I like the sound of that.
where we talk about movies we love with someone who just popped their cherry to that movie.
Oh, I love a good cherry pump. That sounds delightful.
Jacob, are all the movies we do on this podcast going to be good movies?
God, I fucking hope not.
Do we like shitty movies?
We love shitty movies. Sometimes, even more than good movies.
Are we critics?
Yeah, absolutely not, thank God.
But do we love movies?
Oh, we love the complete shit out of movies. And this week, we have a first time on I Remember My First Time, the blockbuster that made blockbusters. It popped Summer's cherry in 1975 for movie blockbusters. We have the 1975 shark classic Jaws.
Dun-dun, 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 dun-dun. This is also, we are entering October. We're easing into the horror genre with this movie because I don't care what anybody says, this is still a horror movie. Light horror, but horror nonetheless.
Yes. Like akin to The Sixth Sense. It's a horror movie, but thriller too.
Thriller, horror. I think we talked about this in the lost episode that no one will hear, Jurassic Park, which has some horror elements in it. This one is a straight horror movie.
Yeah, 100%.
Jacob, farewell and adieu, my fair Spanish ladies.
BJ, smile, you son of a bitch.
I am BJ Leica, and I yell Barracuda at the beach.
Joined as always by me, USS Indianapolis denier Jacob Ekus.
That is a. So, do you think that's a inside job from Holly Weird that made us fear sharks so they could make billions of dollars off movies?
100%. 100%. And I also had to throw this in there because, as you've told me once before, this is your favorite trivia group name, the USS Indianapolis.
That's technically the trivia team name is the USS Indianapolis Sharks, which is a great trivia team name because in a room of 40 people, 2 people are going to laugh out loud and 38 aren't going to have a fucking clue what you're talking about. So I highly recommend the USS Indianapolis Sharks as a team name for trivia.
Yes, because that's what you want out of your trivia team name. You don't want people to know.
Yeah, you want to make 10% of the people there laugh and 90% of the people be like, I don't get it.
Yes. What does Netflix describe Jaws as?
When an insatiable great white shark terrorizes Amity Island, a police chief, an oceanographer, and a grizzled shark hunter seek to destroy the beast.
Cool. Love it. Straight and to the point.
Let's see. Jaws has a rating of 8.1 out of 10 on IMDb, 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, and an 87% Metacritic score.
Perfect. That makes so much sense to me. Because even with the top 10 movie of all time, which I don't know if I totally agree with that because my list is a tad bit different than yours. I know you do. and I'm also not going to argue with you. Like, you putting it in your top 10 makes sense. So with this being a top 10 movie of all time, I still don't expect it to be like, it doesn't surprise me that it's not over 90% on the critics because critics are fucking stupid.
And the IMDb score, I'm assuming most of the people that didn't like it essentially just found it overrated.
Either overrated or they didn't realize they were watching a movie from 1975.
Yeah. Why didn't they just use CGI in 1975?
Yeah, or, oh, the shark looks so unrealistic. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you're watching a fucking movie.
Yep. All right, so this is 1975. This is young Roger Ebert, right? He's a youngin.
Well, the only review I could find was a review of the 25th anniversary re-release, and it was basically Roger Ebert saying that he loved the movie in 413 different ways. I know this is gonna be a long podcast. Did your bong just make the smoke detector go off?
Yeah, but it's because I'm sitting in the closet.
I'm leaving this
Maybe.
in. I'm leaving this
Oh,
in. The fact that your bong just
we
made
have to. Yeah, yeah. Here, and I remember my first time. I'm in a closet. Who knows if I'll ever come out? And the bong fucking made the smoke detector come off that I have in the closet because we have a griddle that we're not supposed to have that we cook bacon and eggs on because food here sucks. So, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, but anyway, Roger Ebert, 4 stars, thinks it's one of the greatest movies of all time, thinks Spielberg's great, thinks the score's great, he thinks everything's great. Let's move on because I'm sure this is going to be a long podcast because
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of trivia.
Yeah, but a lot of the trivia was uninteresting for the pod, so don't worry.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. We have a good amount of trivia. It's not going to be overbearing like the Mario Bros. Movie. I learned my lesson. But budget, okay? 1975, the budget was $7 million. Today, that's $41 million. They did this on $41 million today.
Not bad.
No, not bad. Especially not using CGI. Incredible. Its opening weekend made all its money back. Every fucking cent its opening weekend on only. Let me find it. Let me find it. This is fucking nuts. Jaws opened on only 490 screens its opening weekend.
Wow.
And it made $41 million back.
That
Over 67 million people in the US went to see this film when it was initially released in 1975, making it the first official summer blockbuster.
first $100 million film, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Jaws opened on June 20th, 1975. It was supposed to be released in theaters for Christmas in 1974, but, shooting delays, yada, yada, yada. So it was pushed to so back in 1975, summer was traditionally when the worst movies were dumped into theaters, as Americans typically enjoyed the outdoors instead. But the film was so good, beachgoers actually flocked to see it, and the movie became the highest-grossing film of all time up to that point. It became the first film to gross over 100 million in theatrical rentals, which is the figure the studio nets from the North American box office after the movie theaters take their cut, roughly half the box office gross. Thus, the summer blockbuster was born.
And this movie is a summer movie, down to every single last piece of it. It is a summer movie. A horrible idea would have been to release this in December.
Yes. But like you said, like summers were the worst times to release movies, and December was the best time because that's when you're hanging out and you're off work and it's Christmas.
Yeah.
It's like
And
I get the thought processes there. You want to know what it made worldwide after its theatrical run? In
oh,
19
I can't imagine.
in 1975, close to $480 million, which today is almost 3 billion. No, wait,
Wow.
sorry. 3 billion? Yep. Yeah. 2,007,900,000. Yeah, it's a big fucking number.
Whatever. Over $2.5 million.
Billion.
Or so yeah, over
Adjusted,
$2.5 billion. Yeah.
yeah,
Adjusted
adjusted
for
to
inflation.
inflation. Fucking
Ah,
nuts.
crazy.
Fucking nuts. But yeah, so the popularity of blockbusters created summer movies for us. Thank you, Steven Spielberg. You fucking genius, even though I hate E.T.
A 27-year-old.
Oh, was he 27 whenever he filmed this movie?
He was 27 when he directed this movie.
I'm a fucking loser with a podcast that makes no money at 32.
Uh,
Oh, Whatever, though. I'm doing a fucking podcast in a closet that I make no money to. Steven Spielberg at 27 made a $2.5 billion movie.
Spielberg made one of the greatest movies of all time, and you're setting off smoke detectors with your bong in a closet.
Yeah. Life choices, man. All right. Thoughts on the movie? Incredible. It's like you said, light horror, so very thrilling. The acting was incredible. The acting, and there's so much unintentional comedy in this movie that I really really enjoyed.
See, I don't know. The 70s were a weird time. I'm not sure it was unintentional.
Weird. Okay. Well, I love the comedy. It seemed unintentional now.
So this was actually my first time to see this movie. Why? I don't know, but I'd never seen it. And I watched it, and I'm watching the first half of the movie when they're on the island, and I'm enjoying myself. I'm having a good time. Clearly, Spielberg knows what he's doing. This is good, but this is not a great movie yet. And then they get on the boat. And once they get on the boat, this movie is perfect in every single way. Perfect down to the last minute detail. Once they hit the boat for a full fucking hour, three guys on a boat hunting a shark, and it's perfect. Everything is so damn good.
I totally agree. I don't even think I could second anything that you said there. Or, I mean, I don't think I could add to anything that you said there because I second all of it. Anything you didn't like about the movie at all? Oh, wait. Before I ask you that question, for the handful of listeners that we have, why did you watch this movie for the first time so recently?
My 8-year-old son found out it was a PG movie, and he said, I'm allowed to watch PG movies. I want to watch Jaws. And I'm like, Jaws is PG? All right, fuck it. Let's watch it. It should not be rated PG.
It should
It's
not be
definitely
rated PG.
PG-13.
Yeah. It's like when you watch an airplane and it's PG and that chick just walks by topless with the biggest fucking knockers, and you're like, this is a PG movie.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, it's a PG movie. Oh, there's a first scene. Oh, there's a topless woman. Oh, she's getting eaten by a shark, and there is blood everywhere in this water. Well, I already told him he could watch it, so
Yep.
let's hope this doesn't cost me a therapy bill in the future.
Have we ever as a sidebar, have I ever told you my story about the movie Blue Crush?
The surfing movie?
Yep. Have I ever told you
No.
my story about that movie? Okay, we're gonna have a sidebar real quick. So my mom and dad split up at not when I was 8 or 9. They divorced shortly thereafter. I'm 13 years old. I live in East Texas. I'm at a movie gallery. My mom has told me I can watch PG-13 movies. I have already seen Gladiator, Die Hard. I mean, my parents are split up. My dad's the cool one, right? Duh. This is before he was a raging piece of shit. And I had already seen Fast and Furious, which means I had already seen Vin Diesel grab Michelle Rodriguez up by her tight little Latina booty and those leather pants she was wearing in his garage. And then I saw that Michelle Rodriguez is in a surfing movie called Blue Crush.
And
And
you know what Michelle Rodriguez in a surfing movie means? Michelle Rodriguez in a bikini.
correct. And me being 13 and being allowed to watch PG-13 movies, I'm like, fuck yes, this is what I'm getting. So I go to the counter, I have Blue Crush, my mom's going to rent it for me at Movie Gallery, and she asked the guy that's working behind the Movie Gallery calendar if this was a young PG-13 or a like more older teenager PG-13 movie. And without skipping a beat, he goes, oh, older teenager PG-13 for sure. And my mom's like, no, go put that back. You can't watch it.
That guy is not welcome on the podcast.
Never. Fuck him.
East Texas Movie Gallery employee in 2004. You're not fucking welcome on this podcast.
No, you're fucking not. You are a core memory from me, and it's not a fucking good one. And to this day, I've never seen Blue Crush. It's streaming right now.
I
I don't think I
I
watch
don't
it
know
on.
if you're
I don't think I
missing
watch it on
much.
general
I
principle. Do what now?
Why didn't that guy just lie?
Fuck him.
As one former and
He's
one current service industry worker, here's our message to all service industry workers: just fucking lie. You don't get paid enough to tell the truth.
yeah. Fuck you, dude. Like, still hate that guy to this day. But anyways, perfect sidebar. I'm so glad that you let Zane watch this movie and stuck to your guns because it's a PG movie, and he said he was allowed to watch PG movies, and he's not wrong. So,
And the reason it's PG is because PG-13 wasn't a category in 1975.
yeah,
So, whatever. He'll
eh,
be fine.
doesn't matter. He fucking loved it. I believe the thing that you told me was his favorite thing was I like that I know something bad is going to happen when the music changes.
I'm already getting him interested in scores.
Yeah. Just because
Because
of course you fucking are.
even you, who doesn't care less about a score of a film, you've got to admit this is the one movie where it's like, I get it. I get
Oh
it.
yeah. Yeah. And I don't care about scores. That doesn't mean I don't enjoy them when I'm watching the movie. It's just when I go back and think about a movie and you ask me about the score, I'm just like, I don't know.
And the beauty
It
of
wasn't
this one,
bad.
the beauty of the score in this one is you hear that music, and not every time does something bad happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes everybody survives.
Yeah. Yeah. So that being said, did the sidebar? We didn't ask the question. Anything you didn't like about this movie?
I mean, the elephant in the room is that the shark doesn't look realistic to 2024 standards.
Yeah, that's being nitpicky though.
Yeah,
Came out in
that's it.
1975.
Anything for you?
Whatever. No. It's pretty much a perfect movie. So that being said, is it a good or bad movie? It's a great movie. It's pretty much a perfect movie.
Yeah, yeah. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're an 8-year-old. Watch the movie. It's PG. You can watch it. You're allowed.
All right, BJ, now it's time. You ready?
Actually, one thing before we get into the shark meat of this movie, you are currently you are currently on an island where I got real big Amity Island vibes from where you are. Did you get the same did you get that same idea or no?
Yes, I did. 100%. And it's funny because this season, two things have been happening on this island. There's two ferry companies that ferry people to and from Mackinac City and St. Angus to Mackinac Island. And one of the ferry companies failed their state inspection. So now there is a single ferry company ferrying everyone back all summer long. And it's not like anybody in the island lets people know that they're going to stand for hours waiting to get on and off the island. Like they're just like, you're coming to
Oh.
the island anyways. You'll fucking figure it out. We're a tourist destination. Why would we say anything to not allow this? Like hours, BJ, hours to get off the island. Line so long because there's just one ferry. And then one day, the power on the entire island was out from like 5 a.m. to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And guess how many people knew that before heading to the island?
0.
Yeah, zero. Why would they? Why would they know? We still need you to come to the island. You'll figure out a way to get cash.
We got to make our money.
Yeah. Luckily, it was only off for half a day. But those two things, I'm sitting here watching this movie and I'm like, I get it, Mayor. I get it.
Businessman mayor, baby. He's pro business.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck them kids. Okay.
Okay,
And
so now we're gonna get deep.
yeah, as you said, as you so aptly put earlier, the shark meat of this episode, which of
So
course is
I
the
guess
Mount Rushmore of scenes.
and I'll go first because it was my first time watching it. This was a crazy difficult Rushmore to do. So I'm gonna start off with my fourth scene, mainly because I don't think you have this one in yours, but you may. It is when Richard Dreyfuss's character Hooper shows up to Brody's house with the two bottles of wine to tell him that I'm leaving, but I'm leaving knowing there is still a man-eating shark out there, and I've got to tell somebody. I thought this scene was super powerful, a real good relationship between Brody and Hooper, and the acting of Brody in this scene where he takes the wine bottle and fills up a pint glass of wine and starts chugging it is is great. This is such a good scene. Very Spielbergian.
Spielbergian. Okay, we're really reaching with that one. No, good scene. It's not on my Mount Rushmore, but it was a very powerful scene. And I enjoyed the doctor's character probably the most. And he wasn't the best character in this movie, but I still enjoyed his character the most. It was a very good scene. My number four scene is going to be my first Eddie Guerrero, RIP. I watched that video I sent you earlier this week whenever he fell down in the ring with a heart attack. Rough watch.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, RIP, my first Lie, Seat, and Chill Eddie Guerrero. I'm going to go early in the movie when right after the opening scene where Homegirl gets got and the sheriff is talking to the mayor and the doctor. So the doctor showed up, you got the sheriff and the mayor, and I just loved how modern that scene was. Cause I mean the sheriff's just like, no man, we got tourism. Like this is our season. We can't just shut down the beaches. Like that's not happening. And I just loved how modern it was. He was just like, I don't care what you got to do, get more help, but we're not shutting down the beaches. And he's given all these facts and everything. I just thought it was so great. Then we have a little bit break, and this is kind of where my lice eat and chill scene comes in, because just for a single moment, the kid that gets eaten in this scene, which incredible. I love the focus on this kid because he wants
His
to go back
mom
in the
was
water.
great.
His mom was great, but she annoyed me in this scene because he wanted to go back in the water and she looked at his hand. She's like, no, you're getting pruny. Who the fuck doesn't let their kids continue swimming because they're getting pruny? Fuck that, mom. Okay?
Dude, it was 1975. Parents were pissed when kids were in the house after between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. They were basically like, it's 9:30 in the morning. Get the fuck out of my house. I'll see you at dinner time.
Yeah. Fuck you and your pruny self worried about pruned hands. And then I take this into the town meeting when we first meet Quint. I,
Whoa.
I, I I thought the lady that didn't think the joke about the reward money was funny. I thought she was great in this. I thought a bunch of the town people were great. I thought the sheriff was great. I thought the mayor was great. And then we meet Quint. And the math never added up because he was straight up. He's like, yeah, I'll start with 3,000. I'll do 3,000 to find the shark, 10,000 to kill it. But they only ended up paying him 10,000, which doesn't matter because fucker died anyway. But he only took a check for 10. He was gonna do it for 13. He said 13. But anyways, it was a great scene. I loved how we met him. Meeting him was perfect, and the scene was great.
Leading right into it, that is my third scene, is the meeting of Quint. When you talk about aura on screen, the first time that camera panned to him, I was just in my head, who is this fucking guy? He's awesome. It
Yeah.
it's it's so it's so great to meet him in a room full of the most powerful people in the town, and he just figuratively whips his dick out and says, "I've got the biggest swinging D on this fucking island. You want me to do something about it or no?" It's so good. Quint is Robert Shaw just killing this role.
And you know what? You know what, BJ? Talk about Robert Shaw's big dick energy. He would show us his fucking dick. Show us
Yes,
your
he would.
dick, Michael Douglas. Show us your motherfucking dick. Son of a bitch. Anyways, awesome. So my third favorite scene is I call it the dumb doctor scene. You know what I'm talking about?
When he dives into the water for no reason whatsoever.
Yes. So before I talk about this scene, oh wait, no. I start this because he's at a bar, or no. When they have that first shark is what kind of where I start this, because it's just all doctor at this point. You have that guy go, "What kind of shark is it?" He goes, "A tiger shark," and the guy turns around and goes, "Oh, what?" That cracked me the fuck up. When that happened in the movie, I laughed out loud. What kind of shark is it? A tiger shark. A what? I was like, what's going on? And then you have another great scene as him and not another great line as him and the sheriff are heading out before he makes this dumbass. I thought the doctor was gonna die. I'd been so long since I watched this movie. I'm like, this motherfucker is about to die. This is how movies work. He's about to get ate. But they're heading out there, and he's like, it's kind of weird that you live on an island and you hate water. And the sheriff goes, it's only an island if you look at it from the water. And the doctor goes, yeah, that makes sense. Or no, he goes, that makes a lot of sense. And that fucking got me.
Because that makes no sense at all.
No, and this doctor's like, I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole. Like, nope.
Yeah, I this was definitely on the list of ones I was choosing from. I called it the headless boatman scene.
Okay. Good shit. Okay.
Great eyeball acting from Richard Dreyfuss in this scene too when he sees the head.
Yes. Okay, you're what is it? Your second scene now?
My second favorite scene is the USS Indianapolis monologue. That scene where the three are on the boat, drinking heavily, just male bonding at its finest. And Robert Shaw as Quint goes into the USS Indianapolis monologue right before the shark hits the side of the boat. What an awesome scene.
Yep. This is also my second favorite scene. And are you ready for this, BJ? Though respected as an actor, Robert Shaw's trouble with alcohol was a frequent source of tension during filming. In later interviews, Roy Schneider described his co-star as a perfect gentleman whenever he was sober. All he needed was one drink, and then he turned into a competitive son of a bitch. According to Carl Gottlieb's book, The Jaws Log, Shaw was having a drink between takes, at which one point he announced, I wish I could quit drinking. Much to the surprise and horror of the crew, Richard Dreyfuss simply grabbed Shaw's glass and tossed it into the ocean. Much to Shaw's chagrin, they bullied each other on set, yada yada yada. When it came time to shoot the infamous USS Indianapolis scene, Shaw attempted to do the monologue while intoxicated as fuck, as it called for the men to be drinking late at night. Nothing in the take could be used. A remorseful Shaw called Stephen Spielberg late that night and asked if he could have another try. The next day of shooting, Shaw's electrifying performance was done in a single take.
Whoa, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that trivia.
Of course.
This could have easily been the number one scene too. This is not, it's 1A and 1B for me.
Yeah, I feel that. What's your number one scene?
Oh, it's the final scene. It's Dreyfuss diving down in the shark cage. The shark just absolutely destroying that cage, then eating Quint, and then smile, you son of a bitch, and Brody shooting the oxygen tank and blowing up the shark.
Yeah, that's good shit. Mine's basically that, but also another Eddie Guerrero, and it's anytime they come across a shark while in the boat.
The buoys was such an important role in this movie where you couldn't see the shark, but you knew where it was. but you just didn't know when, and then it would take the buoys under. I thought that bit of the movie was so effective
Yep.
with using the buoys to locate the shark.
It's your classic 70s horror movies. Like Ridley Scott's Alien, he would use shadows so he wouldn't have to show the whole body of the alien because it was just a dude in a costume.
I mean, Aliens was pitched to studios as Jaws in space.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
And Aliens was not Jaws in space. Alien.
Yes. So yes, yes.
It's an important distinction that our listeners need to know.
The first one.
Yeah, Alien, which is aptly named because there is a single alien on board, whereas the second one, Aliens, there are a fucking ton of them. But anyway, cool. I didn't know that. Thank you for that bit of trivia. I had no idea that Alien was pitched as Jaws in space, but yeah, I mean, same thing with the buoys and the shadows. It's classic 70s horror where they use practical effects to achieve the suspense of a horror movie.
Yeah, the whole movie doesn't need to look cool to be effective. You hear that, James Cameron?
Yeah, James Cameron. And we know you can make good movies. I'm watching Terminator 2, and I'm just like, this movie could have come out this summer. It came out in 1991. It was filmed in 1990. It could have come out this summer. You could have released it in theaters, and nobody would fucking know. But yeah, good Mount Rushmore. It doesn't surprise me that we agreed on so many. I'm glad where we differed, where we did, so we could basically have everything we wanted.
The 4th of July scene is a great scene as well. That wasn't brought up. That was really hard for me to leave off. Just multiple suspense. What's the word I'm looking for here? Just multiple little suspense things thrown in there. It was so good.
In my notes, I had a joke because it'd been so long since I'd seen this movie. I didn't know how many more people were going to die. I was like, how many people are going to die until we pay Clint? Because we're down a lady, a child, a dog. So how many more are going to get got before we hire this guy? And I thought we were going to have at least 2 or 3 more, but it just took the guy and the boat and the sheriff's kid and the buoy and the mayor being like, my kids were on this beach too. Pay the man whatever. And
yeah,
it's incredible. I loved it. It was a good scene.
Yeah, it's amazing how politicians' minds change when, oh, Dick Cheney's daughter's a lesbian, and now he understands LGBT rights. Interesting.
Yeah.
Funny how that happens. Why don't you just have a little bit of fucking empathy? Just a little bit.
Yeah. It's funny how pro-choice Republican congressmen are when their affairs get pregnant.
Yeah, when their mistresses are pregnant.
Yeah. All of a sudden they're real pro-choice.
So I had the idea, and ironically, I brought it up to you this week, where I wanted to have an idea, especially for the older movies, of a segment called Woke This Movie. But the first half of this movie is literally just an allegory for climate change.
Wait,
where
hold on. We're going to pump the brakes here real quick. People have a very liberal definition of what woke is, and woke means a very specific thing on this podcast. So before we make what's woke this movie or whatever this new segment's going to be for older movies, what does woke mean on IRMFT, DJ?
The official IRMFT definition of woke is mainstream things no longer strictly pander to white Christian conservative, generally men.
Nailed it. I'd have to say I agree with that definition too. It's the official definition of woke on IRMFT.
You can have a different definition, that's fine, but on this podcast, that's our definition. But this movie's kind of hard to do because, like I said, the entire first half of this movie is just an allegory on climate change, where the scientist and the person in charge of protecting people are like, something's wrong, we need to do something. And the politician and the people that are trying to make money off of things. They're like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. Nothing's wrong. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it."
Yep. Yep.
But the real answer is just one of the 3 guys on the boat has to be black, and it's probably the scientist or Brody, right? It's Brody or Hooper. It's definitely not Quint, but Brody or Hooper gotta be black, right?
No, it could be Quint. It could be Quint.
Okay, but one of the 3 has to be black. That's our only way to woke this movie.
Yeah. Correct. Oh, good.
Alright, I
That's great. All
just
right.
wanted to get that out of the way of our new
Yes.
segment, "Let's woke this movie."
Yes. I love it. Character breakdown. You want to start it?
Character breakdown?
Yeah.
Yeah, Brody's the main character, right? He's the first one we see of the 3 main characters. He's the one that kills the shark. He's the main character. We can start with him.
Yeah, Brody's the main character for sure.
What do you have to say about him?
I liked Brody. Oh, you know what? Before we continue on this character breakdown, you said you had the ages of the 3 main characters, and 2 of them are surprising. I'm assuming Brody is surprising. I'm assuming
No,
the only.
Brody's the
Go
one
ahead.
that's not surprising because he was 44 at the making of this movie. But I had to
Okay.
look it up because they kept calling Hooper, Richard Dreyfuss's character, young. They referred to him as young several times. And I'm sitting on my couch. I'm like, why are they calling this 38-year-old man young? And then I looked it up. He was 27.
Get out of here with that much gray in his beard.
He was 27.
I'm
And
32 and I don't have half that gray.
and maybe even more surprising than this, Robert Shaw as Quint was 47 years old during the filming of this movie. I thought he was 65.
Yeah, I thought he was minimum 60. Minimum.
Yeah,
That's
so you didn't have
crazy.
that on your trivia, but I had to look it up because they kept calling Richard Dreyfuss young, and I'm like, this man is 38 years old.
Yeah,
Nope,
that guy's older than I am.
younger than
Again,
you. Oh, yeah.
again, this guy's out here 27 years old, same age as Steven Spielberg, one of the greatest movies of all time. I'm just some loser in a closet with a podcast that makes no money.
No money.
Okay, yeah. So Brody, I enjoyed him. He was great. I loved how much he
Uh,
got into the sharks, just reading all this shit. He's a very practical human being. I enjoyed his character.
yeah. He's the everyman character. He's nothing special. He's just doing what he has to do. He seems like a great father. I wish I could have used about 5 more minutes of father-son interaction because I felt like he was truly a good father. But yeah, a
Hon-
wonderful everyman character.
I'd have to disagree with that. I'm fine with as little kid scenes as possible in an adult movie. Keep it
Rated
minimal.
PG.
Fair enough. You know what? I can't even argue that point. Fair enough. But let's do Quint last. Let's do Hooper next.
a
Great
a
character.
really a
I loved his comedy. Him making faces at Quint when they were on the boat, I thought was so fucking funny too. As great as Robert Shaw is as an actor, and as great as the character Quint is, Hooper won me over.
This is exactly how you play a supporting role. I didn't look into Oscars and stuff for this movie, but this Hooper role that Richard Dreyfuss plays, that is how you play a supporting role. You pick up the slack when the main characters aren't doing it, but when the main characters are cooking, you let them do it. This is a wonderful example of how to be a supporting actor. Nailed it, Richard Dreyfuss.
Correct. What other? I know Richard Dreyfuss from other stuff. What else has he been in? Like, I do know him from other
Oh,
stuff, right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, he 70s, 80s, and even into the 90s. He was in a ton of stuff. Let's see. American Graffiti's Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Stand By Me.
Okay, I know it from Stand By Me. That is a movie that I know him from. Okay, cool.
Mr. Holland's Opus.
Okay. All right, yeah. But like you said, this is how you do a supporting actor. All right, Quint, Robert Shaw, Robert Archibald Shaw. I love the name Archibald. Oh damn, he died at the age of 51. He died very shortly after this movie. Was it alcohol that killed
I
him?
pretty much, yeah. That was a lot of alcohol running through that man's blood.
Cool. Yeah, heart
Um,
attack. If you have a heart attack at 51, you're drinking or eating a lot, one of the two.
what I do want to say about this character is I feel like this is about my old man was about 3 bad decisions in life from becoming this character.
Nice. I mean, your dad's already cool, but that would have been fucking wicked.
I don't think I would have been born had he made those wrong decisions, but yeah,
Okay.
couple of bad decisions, that's him.
Okay. Cool. And that awesome. Because I went to Robert Shaw's IMDb page, the first bit of trivia on his page is his performance as Captain Quint in Jaws is ranked number 28 on Premiere Magazine's 100 greatest movie characters of all time.
It's a phenomenal character. This is the best character in the movie, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And best acting performance by far.
Yeah, just the USS Indianapolis monologue alone, which we already talked about, him just oozing big dick energy from the second the camera pans to him. Bravo, rest in peace, Robert Shaw, you alcoholic son of a bitch.
Yep. Seconded. There's two more characters I want to talk about on this pod before we move on. I know you don't have them listed here. First, we have to talk about Steven Spielberg. He's as much a character in his own movies as a director, as characters in his movies.
The shots of Brody when the shark attack happens on the beach and his first sighting of the shark when he's chumming the water. What cool shots that now are in every movie but weren't before then. He revolutionized that shot of the reaction shot of the horror movie, however you want to say that.
Yeah. Created blockbusters. Just things we love. Like, even if you don't like Marvel movies, which I don't, there are other blockbusters that come out every year for the people that don't like Marvel movies because blockbusters are that big of a deal. As moviegoers start to die out because of all the streaming services, you still show up to the movies to watch your Marvels and your Meg to the Trench and your Avatars because they're fucking incredible on the big screen. And Steven Spielberg created that with this movie.
Okay, your next character, are you going mayor or shark?
Ooh, I was going shark. The mayor is a good one though that I didn't even think about. The shark actually has a name. His name is Bruce. Steven Spielberg named him after his lawyer. Bruce has a total of 4 minutes of screen time in a movie that has a runtime of 2 hours and 10 minutes. Isn't that unbelievable?
I would have guessed less. I thought the shark. I guess they're talking about like dorsal fin and everything, right?
I guess so. I would have thought more just because of the intensity of the movie. Like 4 minutes and 2 hours and 10 minutes is fucking nuts. 3 mechanical Bruces were made, each with specialized functions. One shark was open on the right side, one was open on the left side, and the third was fully skinned. Each shark cost approximately $250,000.
Wasn't the entire budget like 7 million?
Correct. Yeah. So 3 of the sharks ate up about $1 million.
Uh, is is that our little tease into trivia then?
No, I want to hear you talk about the mayor. Do you have anything to say about him?
Oh, I thought this was a great example of somebody who's like, you're kind of shitty, but not all the way shitty, and I can absolutely believe people voted for you. And a blazer with anchors on it in a beach town is unrivaled wardrobe, my friend.
Yes, agreed. Agreed. Okay, let's move into trivia. Despite the film's mammoth box office returns, Robert Shaw did not earn a single penny out of it. He was facing heat from the IRS for tax evasion, and due to working in countries as diverse as the US, Canada, and Ireland, he had to forego his salary to make amends.
Oh, pay your taxes, folks.
Yeah, the long and short of it. Several decades after the film's release, Lee Fierro walked into a seafood restaurant and noticed an Alex Kittner sandwich on the menu. She commented that she had played his mother many years ago. Jeffrey Voorhees, manager of the restaurant, ran out to meet her. He had played her son, and they hadn't seen each other since the original movie shoot.
Oh, that's cool.
Right, right. When composer John Williams originally played the score for director Steven Spielberg, Spielberg laughed and said, quote, "That's funny, John, really, but what did you really have in mind for the theme of Jaws?" Spielberg later stated that without Williams' score, the movie would only have been half as successful, and according to Williams, it jump-started his career.
It's two notes. Dun. That's it.
Yeah, and it's
That's
incredible.
and it works beautifully because the score works on its simplicity as well as the movie. But both
You,
of them are so simple, and that's where they excel.
You know what that reminds me of? The Jim Gaffigan quote of making fun of the Hot Pockets theme song. He's like, "What genius came up with that? Hot Pockets." Anyways, according to director Steven Spielberg, the prop arm looked too fake in the scene where Chrissy's remains are discovered, so instead they buried a female crew member in the sand with only her arm exposed.
Oh, that doesn't seem safe.
No. Spielberg's biggest fear, other than the appearance performance of the mechanical shark, was that the cameras would catch sight of land. The reason Spielberg did not want land to be seen was because he thought the audience would envision the characters having the option of just running back to shore when in danger. He wanted to isolate the audience as much as the characters. Going into that, the reason the land thing was a big deal, it was filmed at Martha's Vineyard, that because just low water, that way all the mechanical stuff could work and everything. Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts was used as amenity island primarily because even 12 miles out to sea, the sandy bottom was only 30 feet down, allowing the mechanical shark to function. Residents were paid $64 to scream and run across the beach as extras.
Yeah, I'd have taken it.
Oh, $64.74 was huge. The average summer tourist population of Martha's Vineyard before the film was released was approximately 5,000 people. After it came out, the population skyrocketed to 15,000. Roy
All right, well,
Schneider,
free advertising.
right? Roy Schneider stated in an interview that in the scene where Lee Fierro smacks him in the face, she was actually hitting him. Apparently, the actress could not fake a slap, and so the 17 takes were some of the most painful of Schneider's acting career. Also, Lee Fierro stated in several interviews that in one of the takes, she slapped Roy Schneider so hard his glasses fell off. I'm just like, actors are wild. One, like, really, you can't fake one, and then we're just gonna do it for real. And then two, uh, 17 takes. It took
No,
17 times of real hits.
no, you got four. You got four, Spielberg. Use the best of the four.
Yep. This next bit of trivia is just a bunch, is a long one of how much Robert Shaw and Richard Dreyfuss did not like each other. They hated each other. There is a bunch of trivia on IMDb if you're interested. They hated each other.
Can I make one prediction before you read this?
Yeah.
Anti-Semitic remarks from Shaw.
I don't think so. Not what I came
Oh,
across, anyways.
okay.
Robert Shaw and Richard Dreyfuss could not stand each other, and the two argued all the time, which resulted in some good tension between Hopper and Quint. Dreyfuss later refuted that the two hated each other and said that they only had one major disagreement on set when Shaw pranked him by shooting Dreyfuss in the face with a fire hose.
That's not a prank.
Yeah. However, later amended their differences. Dreyfuss later described Shaw as he was the largest personality I've ever met on this earth. He further elaborated that while filming Jaws, Shaw invited Dreyfuss to act with him on stage, telling Dreyfuss, "I'll play Claudius to your Hamlet if you'll play the fool to my Lear." Dreyfuss was flattered and agreed to do it, but only after 10 years had passed so that his acting skills could be closer to that of Shaw's. Shaw agreed, but his tragic death only a few years later prevented this from ever happening.
That'd have been great.
Right. And my last bit of trivia. In the original script, Quint was killed off by drowning. The rope from the harpoon that he fires at the shark wraps around his foot and he is pulled under by the shark, calling for Brody to give him his knife. This was also the way the character was killed off in the book, and according to an interview with Spielberg about the scene, it is similar to the way Ahab dies in Moby Dick. However, it was decided that Quint should be eaten as this would be the most tragic for the character based on his experience on the USS Indianapolis, so the script was changed to what it is in the movie, which agreed. It should have ended that way for him.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, that's trivia. Not a whole lot of trivia. They were just longer bits of trivia.
Yeah, and there's that book you mentioned earlier if you wanna read a whole lot of trivia.
Yeah, and there's documentaries about the making of Jaws. I mean, it created the summer blockbuster. So you don't even have to read the book. You can go do it, watch the documentary, and get probably all the same shit.
Yeah, don't read like a nerd.
Oh, BJ, do we have enough time for you to tell your little hobbies thing real quick before we do our impersonations?
I don't know if this is the time or place.
Fair. It just made me think of it because you said reading. All right, so our impersonation, obviously, it's got to be Quint. Fire it up, BJ.
You see this scar here? 30 miles in a port north of Bangkok. A Thai ladyboy tried to bite my testicles for asking to eat my ass. She missed, but I got this scar. And that's why they call me No Taint Quint.
Wow, did you practice that before we did this? Or was that off the cuff?
No, was that good?
That was incredible.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
My God, I love that. I don't even want to follow that up. What kind of accent was that? Because I don't really understand his accent. So let me at least give me some insight there before I attempt this. After that tour de force of acting,
in my mind, it was a some sort of combination of northeastern pirate and just real hard road blue collar.
okay, wow, that didn't narrow it down for me at all. All right, let's try this. I'll go after that big old cocksucker for you. Gonna cost you an arm and a leg. Literally an arm and a leg. I have an incredible taxidermist, and I'm gonna want an arm and a leg off of that lady that the shark already ate. I'll take hers. And then when I get this shark, I'm gonna fuck it. I'm gonna fuck it real good. After what those sharks did to my mates on the Indianapolis. That's what I got. I don't want to keep going.
All right.
I could have kept going about fucking a shark, but I didn't want to.
That wasn't bad.
Oh, man. All right. Final thoughts on the movie in general. BJ has the Virgin.
I feel that it's a top 10 movie of all time, and a top 10 movie of all time gets a 10.0. I believe my first on this podcast.
We haven't watched a top 10 movie of all time on this podcast.
I don't think so.
Die Hard's not a top 10 for you?
I think did I rate Die Hard? If I didn't rate Die Hard a 10, I rated like a 9.9 or something like that. But
your new official rule, and we can go retroactively change Die Hard, is that if it's a top 10 movie in your book, it's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that seems like a fair rule, right?
Yeah. Fair. Mine is Not that good because I don't think it's a top 10 movie, but it's a 9.4.
I'm assuming you being the action guy and the quote unquote action in this movie is basically just three guys running around a boat. Is that the 9.4 as opposed to 10 for you? I know a 9.4 is still an incredible movie, but is
I
that what did it for you?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Should they remake this or should everyone just watch every single Jaws sequel and Jaws whatever?
Yeah, I mean, Alien is Jaws in space. They already did, and it's great.
Yeah, but what about all the bad Jaws movies? Just go watch those. They're all incredible.
I may watch Jaws 2 this weekend. We'll see.
Is it also PG?
I don't think so.
You still show Zane. Pull a
I
David.
will. Take your 11-year-olds to see Violent Night. I forgot
The
about
one and
that.
only David Egas. All right, good and bad IMDb reviews.
Let's hear them. Let's hear them.
I can't even begin to say this guy's name. It'll be the first one that I don't even attempt. Anyways, 10 out of 10. Titled Modern Filmmakers Need to Take Cues from Jaws. Watching Jaws today, the film was just as much just watching Jaws today, the film has just as much impact as it did in 1975. Why? Because rather than relying on special effects, the film relies on characters, dialogue, and atmosphere. The shark's presence is always felt, even though it is rarely seen. However, what you remember most from this film are the characters. The interaction on the boat between the three leads is cinema perfection. The filmmakers of today have lost their way in a sea of weightless CGI and meaningless noise. A true masterpiece monster movie begins with good characters and atmosphere. The effects are merely the icing on the cake.
So he basically just basically summarized our podcast right there, didn't he?
Yeah, he made our at this moment with no edits an hour and 7 minute podcast into 30 seconds.
Yeah, 4 sentences.
Yeah. So if you don't listen to this podcast, go find a good IMDb review.
Yeah, and I like his advice. Hey, new filmmakers, make a top 10 movie of all time.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm going to try this guy's name. Mauricio Fernando Gerhardt 7.
That's a weird last name for those two first names.
1 out of 10. 1 star instead of 0 for Naked Girl at the beginning.
This PG movie only had one naked woman. This is bullshit.
Story. Blonde, tanned, fit, big boob naked girl goes for a swim, gets eaten by shark. Boy goes for a swim, gets eaten. We can't have sharks eating away our children and hot girls. When there's something strange in our neighborhood, who we gonna call? A cop, a marine biologist, and a fisherman? Wait, what? The three dummies get on a crappy wooden boat to hunt a giant carnivorous shark. Oh, did I mention they were dummies already? They keep shooting harpoons attached to a rope, attached to a plastic container filled with air, so that the shark will drag it and it becomes slower and tired. After they believe the shark to be tired, they tie the ropes to the boat. The shark drags the boat backwards and makes some water go inside the boat, into the engine room. It damages the engine. One of the dummies goes in a shark cage in the water to try to fight the shark for something. The shark sneak attacks the cage,
What?
the shark sneak the shark sneak attacks the cage, making the dummy drop his weapon. Then he opens the cage and the dummy is able to flee and hide until the end of the movie. The shark eats the fisherman. There's only one dummy left in the boat and it's sinking. He makes the shark eat a tank filled with something explosive, then shoots at the explosive thing and the shark goes kabooey. The end.
I love this review so much. It's so third grade book report.
Moral of the story: just because the opening scene of a movie has a hot naked blonde woman doesn't mean the movie will be good. If you're reading this if you're reading this before seeing the movie, I just saved you 2 hours of your precious life. No need to repay me, but please pay it forward.
That was one of the people at trivia that did not laugh at my USS Indianapolis Sharks team name.
Correct. But Also, at the same time, Mauricio Fernando Gerhardt, even though, sorry, Mauricio Fernando Gerhardt 7. Even though you disagree with
There's
our,
no way there were already 6 Mauricio Fernando Gerhardts.
definitely not, but even though you disagree with what we think is an incredible historical movie, you are welcome on this pod, my friend.
I second that. That's a great review. More people should write reviews like that.
I totally agree. Oh my god. All right, so should people watch this movie? Yeah, it's an all-time great. It made blockbusters and it still stands the test of time, even with a shitty looking shark. And honestly,
Yeah.
the shark didn't look that shitty. It actually looked pretty scary, especially with the underwater scenes and the flesh just attached to its teeth. They did an incredible job.
Well, and you have to understand, and I think the movie kind of hints at this. Pre-Discovery Channel Shark Week, most people didn't really know about sharks. I mean, these people on this island were like, "The fuck's a tiger shark?"
Yeah. They're like, that's just a big fish.
Big fish eat people.
Big fish eat people. I kill big fish, eat big fish. But yeah, everyone, watch this movie. It's incredible.
Yeah, don't worry
And
about it
also,
aging poorly. Don't
yeah.
don't worry about it aging poorly. It's great.
But more importantly than watching an all-time great historical making movie, listen to this podcast. I'm 32 years old. I'm doing this podcast in an unair conditioned closet. It's fucking hot, okay? And I'm trying to make money. Steven Spielberg made a $2.5 billion movie at 27. I'm 32. I need my listeners to step the fuck up. Start telling people about this pod, okay? And
Let's
I'm
all
pretty
get
and
together. Start listening to this podcast so Jacob can get some goddamn air conditioning. We're doing this
thank
for
you.
you.
Yeah, for me. It's not even for BJ. Fuck BJ and his kids. It's me and my single ass that needs all these perks. I chose not to have kids. This is perfect. I should get all the perks. I have all the free time.
Yeah, you're just a single cat lady.
Yep. Anyways, that's us at IRMFT. Follow us on the
Oh,
social medias.
horror movies coming up because it's October. This was just a taste. Just a little
Yeah.
taste.
Yeah, next week will be a good one. Technically, we got our classic horror movie out of the way, so who knows what the rest of the month holds. But we may do 2 classics, because why the fuck not? Anyways, see y'all later.
Bye.